Hey guys, Paul Argueta here. Today I'm going to cover with you the top 10 things that you need to know when you're building your organization. Thanks for visiting our channel. Please make sure that you subscribe so that way you can have access to all the content that we're creating and curating for you. Also make sure that you press on the small bell icon right next to the subscribe button so that way you can get alerts anytime we upload new content and you'll have it right away. Our youngest daughter said, "Dad, you would never wear this pink hat, would you?" Wrong. So the minute she said that and I saw it in the store, I made sure that I bought it and I proved to her that I was going to wear it, and I'm wearing it now. So Bree, I got the pink hat on. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 things you need to know when you're building your organization. And as an entrepreneur, as an independent contractor, as a business owner, as a professional, you will eventually need to learn how to build a team. Newsflash, you can't do it all on your own, and you're not going to be able to. And even if you could, you'd probably go crazy, okay? You really need to master the art of delegation and the art of building an organization. And today, we're gonna talk about some of the darker stuff that a lot of people might not want to share, but it does come with the territory. It's par for the course. So, top 10 things to keep in mind when you are building your organization. All right, let's start with number one. Number one, you have to have a vision. Now, some of you are going to say, well, Paul, my vision is to be wildly successful. My vision is to make a lot of money. My vision is to service X number of clients. And I hate to break it to you, but that is not a vision. What is the story of your company? What is the story of your brand? What is the vision that you have, not only for you, but for the organization, for the clients you serve? What is your vision? Now, for those of you who are already good at this, I would love for you to comment below and share with me what your vision is. Number two, the second thing that you need to know when you are building your organization is this. You will only be able to attract people who are at your level or below. This is very important because if you want a shark to join your organization, then you better be a shark yourself. And what this means is that as an entrepreneur, you are going to be an adaptation machine. In other words, you are going to be in a consistent phase of improvement, right? You're always looking to improve. You're always looking to make yourself better. You're always looking to become the person that you want to attract into your organization, because you know that you're not going to be able to attract anyone who is above your level. And so the only way to get those type of people is for you to improve yourself. What does this mean? This means that you are reading books, you are attending seminars, you're attending conferences, you're going to masterminds, you are investing money in yourself to improve your craft. And not only your craft, but to improve the whole picture, right? We're not just talking business here. We're talking about your health. We're talking about your family life. We're talking about your spirituality. We're talking about your business. We're talking about constantly working on improving yourself, because no matter how good you are or how high you are on the totem pole, we all know that there's always room for improvement. And just when you think that you can't improve anymore, something's going to happen. The industry's going to change. There's going to be these disruptors, and they're going to do something to you that is going to disrupt you and cause you to want to improve if you want to stay competitive, if you want to not only compete but to dominate. This is just something that you're going to have to get used to. So you will get used to being a little uncomfortable. You're going to be a little uncomfortable almost all the time for those of you who are trying to build your organization and you're trying to attract, recruit, whatever word you want to substitute those type of people into your organization. Number three, the third thing that you need to know about building an organization is that you can't go to your troops with your problems. All right, so here's the deal. We all have problems. You have problems. I have problems. Everyone has problems. Now, mind you, these problems are all going to be relative to the person that is dealing with them, to the person that is carrying them around, to the person that is lugging them around like luggage, right? Everybody deals with problems differently. But the worst thing that you can do as the leader of an organization is to go to your troops, to the members of your organization, and to start, sharing all of your problems, all of the things that are going wrong. Now, there's going to be some people that are going to say, well, Paul, I'd like to know that the person I'm working with is a little bit more emotional. I'd like to know that the person that I'm working with, has feelings. And that's true. And listen, there's nothing wrong with having feelings. There's nothing wrong with having emotion. There's nothing wrong with being empathetic. I get it. But at the end of the day, right? I love basketball. So, I'm going to use a basketball analogy. At the end of the day, it's 0.3 seconds on the clock, and you have a technical foul, and you get to shoot the free throws. Are you going to go get your emotional free throw shooter out there on the floor, or are you going to go get the basketball player that has ice water in the veins, the one that shows no emotions but just comes in and gets it done? You're going to choose the one that gets it done. That's the reality. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't be empathetic. In fact, in this day and age, it's very important. There's something called emotional intelligence that you must have. But here's the deal. You also want to make sure that your troops, that your organization, right? That the people around you, that the people that you're trying to attract into that organization, that those people know that come hell or high water, right? Barring injury, you're going to show up and you're going to step up and you're going to be there. And when you're constantly reminding them of all the problems that you have and all the stuff that you're having to overcome and all the stuff that you're dealing with, and you start giving excuses as to why you're not performing at the level that you should be performing at because you've got all those problems, well, then what happens is they start to question your leadership within the organization. So, look, I'm not saying, again, that you don't want to be empathetic to people, but what I am saying is you don't need to share all of your problems. You don't need to share all of your problems with the organization to demonstrate empathy for them. So, rule number 3, don't share all your problems with your troops. Number 4, the fourth thing that you need to know as you build your organization, okay? Leaders lead by example. They lead by example. Now, I'm a big proponent, as are most successful entrepreneurs, of delegation. So there are certain things that, I get it. You're going to delegate. It's going to be below your pay grade. You're not going to want to be doing it. I appreciate that and I respect that. But at the end of the day, your organization needs to know that you're going to work just as hard as they are, that you're going to be in the trenches with them, that when the going gets tough, you're going to be there with them in the trenches as opposed to just barking orders. Leaders lead by example, and I will tell you that they don't need to fearmonger people into sticking around when they lead by example. So the fourth thing that you need to know, and it's very important, is that you lead your organization by example, that you carry the flag and you demonstrate to them how you want them to act, how you want them to look, how you want them to dress, how you want them to perform. These are all things that they will emulate as they see you do it. And if you don't do it, right? If you don't do it, it's very difficult for them to want to do it themselves, right? Your organization is a mirror. And so if your organization isn't growing and shrinking, it's a mirror of your own personal behavior. So keep that in mind. You lead by example. Okay. So now we're going to dive into some of the darker stuff. Some of the stuff that you really need to be prepared for as the leader of your organization. There are going to be some things that are going to happen to you, and you're going to need to know how to handle these things because it will happen. It happens in all organizations. Sometimes it happens early, sometimes it happens late. But the next few things that I'm going to cover with you are very, very important. So let's start with number 5. The fifth thing that you need to know about building your team, your organization, your company is that there will be turnover. No, not Apple turnovers, although I do like a good a good apple fritter. No, when I say turnover, that means that there will be people that will be coming in and leaving the organization. The waves bring the seashells in, and the waves take the seashells out. Some will stay with you, some will not. Some will be with you for a very short period, and some will be with you for a much longer period. It is a part of the business. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs I've met that are bitter. They're bitter because they feel like they've invested in other people that didn't stick around. Sorry, not sorry. That's going to happen. That's part of building an organization. And again, it's nothing personal. If someone leaves your organization, they could be leaving for a variety of reasons. They could be, in fact, leaving because they weren't happy, which is possible. They could be leaving because they've gotten enough information to where now they're ready to sprout their own wings and they're ready to go pursue something on their own. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can't get upset with someone for wanting to grow, right? So, or they're just leaving because they want to pursue something else, which is fine too. But at the end of the day, if you do your job as the leader of an organization, your job is to duplicate yourself. Your job is to create as many leaders as possible. And so if you live in a state of fear where you're keeping all of the great information to yourself because you don't want your organization to grow, because you want to keep people confined into this small bubble, and so you're working from a place of fear as opposed to a place of abundance, then you're going to have problems. There is going to be a turnover. People are going to leave your organization. You have to deal with that fact. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't connect with people. That doesn't mean that you can't become friends with people. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't share everything that you know with them. There are going to be people that are going to leave your organization that you will want to remain in contact with. Don't burn any bridges. Okay? Because they're going to come back and they may ask for help, or they may ask for guidance, or you might ask for help, you might ask for guidance. And there will be a time where you guys will be able to get together and you'll be able to share best practices, you'll be able to share trade secrets, you'll be able to work together. So you don't want to burn any bridges. Just accept the reality. And again, I'm going to use a sports analogy that today we might be on the same team. Next week, you might be on a different team. The following week, you might be coaching a team. You don't really know where that person is going to be. You can't measure what they would like to become. And so work from a place where you're going to give them everything you got. And for as long as they are a part of your organization, that's where they're going to get, right? And if they do go out there and they do start their own organization, or they do start their own team, or they do start their own entrepreneurial endeavor, God bless them, right? That's probably the best way for someone to leave your organization, as opposed for someone to leave your team or your company or your organization with a sour taste in their mouth, feeling like really all they did was waste time building your dream and not really learning anything from it as a result. Just to recap, number 5. There is going to be a turnover and people will leave your organization. That is a part of building a team. Number 6. Now, piggybacking on number 5, people can and people will outgrow you. Now, this is a tough pill because there will be members of your organization that will come in. Let's say that they're younger than you. Let's say that they're less experienced than you. Let's say that they know less than you, and you will teach them, you will mold them, you will mentor them, and then they outgrow you and they become your competition. That's a part of business. Things like that can, and things like that will happen. And so all you can do as the leader of an organization, again, is appreciate the fact that these people have chosen you to mentor them. They've chosen you to guide them. They've chosen you to navigate the waters as they work their way up and as they improve themselves. And there's no shame in that, right? The reality is, though, people's egos tend to get in the way. And so when somebody else comes in, right, it doesn't matter what age group that they're in, right? But when somebody else comes in and you've mentored them and then they outgrow you, it's a difficult pill to swallow, and a lot of people have a tough time when that person leaves their organization, because they feel like they've invested all this time in that person, and then that person left and took all of the information that they gave to them, and now they're starting their own business. Who cares, right? Who cares? If you've done your job as a leader, then you would have consistently been improving yourself anyway. But when you're so busy being worried about what somebody else is doing, right, then that's where you start having problems anyway. So as a true leader, and I've said it before, you want to give them every single thing you've got. Be as transparent with the information that you've got on how to succeed in whatever endeavor it is that you're doing, so that they can go out there and they can succeed as well. That, my friend, is the gift. That is the best thing that you can do, because it will pay. You'll pay it forward, and it'll pay you back in dividends. Maybe not immediately, but eventually it will. Number 7, if you're not growing, you're shrinking. Okay, so here's the deal. We've already talked about the turnover rate. We've already talked about people that you've invested time in leaving you. That's just a part of the business. That's a part of building an organization, right? But it gets even better, because you're busy being worried about 1 or 2 people leaving you. But the reality is, if you're not growing, then the truth is you're probably shrinking. Knowing that there is a turnover rate, knowing that people will probably leave you for a variety of different reasons, hopefully on good terms, right? Knowing these 2 things means that you have to be in a constant state of growth. That means that you're always recruiting the talent. You're always attracting new people into the organization. You're always looking for other people. You have to be a really good recruiter of talent. And most organizations that are consistently growing and successful, not only in sales but in business, those organizations are the ones that have a really strong recruiting platform where they're going out there and they're getting talent. You have to think of yourself as the leader of your organization as a talent scout, and you want to make sure that you get all of the talent to join your organization. But going back to what I said earlier, if you want to get a shark, then you need to be a shark, which means that you have to constantly be in a state of a constant state of uncomfortability, because you're constantly trying to improve yourself, right? It's a little bit like being on a treadmill. I get it, and it sounds a little daunting when I say it out loud. But the truth is that you have to accept that you're going to constantly be recruiting and attracting good people into your organization. Some will leave, some will come. Actually, I should have said some will leave, some will come. I should have done it that way. But anyway, you get the point. The point is that people will come and people will go, and you need more people coming than you need people leaving, right? That is something that you can control by making sure that you've accepted the reality that you are going to constantly have to be recruiting and growing your organization. It cannot stay the same size, because if it isn't growing, I don't care if it stays the same size, it's shrinking. All right? Great. Number 8. Okay, so the 8th thing that you need to know about building an organization, right? I've already covered some of the darker stuff, right? They're gonna leave you, the turnover rate is high, they're gonna take your information, they're gonna leave, they may go out there, become a competitor, they may be a little bit bigger than you even, and you still don't wanna burn bridges. Sounds a little depressing, right? Oh, and if you're not growing, then you're shrinking. It gets better. There will be people that will leave your organization, and they will take people with you. So it gets better. They're going to leave you. They're going to take the information you gave them. They're going to become your competitor, and then they're going to take other members of the organization with them. Holy sh**. Why be in business? It's not worth being in business. It's not worth having to go through all that. Look, these are all the things that a bitter entrepreneur says. These are all the thoughts that someone who has given up says. The reality is, it's just a part of building an organization. Yes, people are going to leave you. Yes, they're going to take the information that you've given them, and they're going to try to compete with you. And yes, they will try to take some of your talent with you. It is what it is, right? Accept that that's part of the game. Again, it's just like sports. One day we're going to be on the same team. One day I'm going to leave. One day I'm going to take your playbook. And one day I'm going to take your star player to come join me and play on my team too. That's a part of business. accept it. The only thing that you can control is yourself. And so, if you're always improving yourself, if you're always adapting to the market, if you're always looking for ways to disrupt your industry, if you're always recruiting new talent, if you're always attracting sharks because you are a shark and you're constantly improving yourself, and you're always trying to improve your organization, right? If you're always doing these things and you're always growing versus staying the same, then you shouldn't be worried about other people taking some of your talent. Does it hurt? Yeah, it hurts. It sucks. It's probably one of the worst feelings in the world, especially when you worked hard to build your team and to build your organization. It's not an easy thing to watch happen, but it is going to happen to you if you are building a team, an organization, a company. It will happen to you. Just be prepared for it. And that doesn't mean that you need to work from a position of fear, or that you have to think of every day as doomsday. What's going to happen to me today? Somebody's going to leave me. Somebody's going to recruit some of my talent. Somebody's going to take my playbook. I'm not telling you these things so that you can work out of fear. I'm sharing these things with you because they're important things to know, so that when they do happen, it doesn't shock you and it doesn't come completely out of left field and it doesn't knock you out the game, right? Because these things, are they tough? They're tough, but it's not intended to take you out of your business. It's not intended to shut your business down. These things, they will hurt you, but they won't break you and they won't get you to stop. So be prepared for it. Understand that it's a part of building your organization. It's a part of building your team, and it is things that can happen to you. But when you're mentally prepared for it and you're doing all the things that we're already preparing you to do, then it shouldn't be that much of a shocker. And you'll know how to handle it when and if it does. All right, so I just covered some of the darker side. I'm going to end on a positive note just so that we can, namaste, so we can be happy, right? Now, number 9, it's very important that you recognize people's efforts, okay? Very, very important that you recognize them, that you pat them on the back. People need recognition. Recognition. People need that. They want that, right? They desire that. The worst thing that could happen is for people to not know how much you appreciate them. And so it's very important that within your organization you recognize people's efforts, you recognize their hard work, you recognize what they do for you, and on top of that, you thank them for it, right? And you give them a genuine kind gesture, right? Listen, there are people that work for organizations that don't necessarily pay them the highest salary, okay? But they're there because of the culture. They're there because of the environment. They're there because they feel appreciated. They're there because they feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. That's all we really want to be a part of. And if you're going to create the right culture, then you need to create an environment where your team and your organization are recognized regularly. Okay, it's very, very important that you recognize their efforts. And that could be things as simple as just sending them a text outside of business hours, 10, 11 o'clock at, well, some people might get in trouble for sending a text at 10, 11 o'clock at night. 6 in the morning, right? It's not uncommon for me when I'm at the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning to be sending out text messages to members of my organization, thanking them for their hard work, thanking them for putting themselves, above and beyond the call of duty. You send them these messages, and I'm not saying to be disingenuous. I'm saying to speak from a place where you're really demonstrating how much you mean to them. And here's the thing. You go up to them when nobody's looking, you pull them aside, and you tell them, I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you for what you did yesterday. I want to thank you for how hard you worked. I saw that you stayed here till about 6:30 or 7 p.m. last night. I want to thank you for doing that. I want to thank you for taking care of that client, for making sure that they had coffee when they were out in the lobby, in the waiting area, and nobody was talking to them. And you had a big pile of paperwork, and you were running to go take care of something, and you saw them, and you set it down, and you went and took care of them. I want to thank you for doing that for them. And I'll tell you that people, they won't remember right? All of the hard work that you did, in as much as they'll remember the few times where you stopped them and you spoke to them and you really gave them a genuine thanks for all of their hard work. People love it. People love it, as do I. Okay, so make sure that you recognize your team. Okay, number 10, and this one's probably easy. You probably suspected that it was coming, but don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit building your team and building your organizations. It ebbs and it flows, and there will be times where building the organization will feel easy, and there will be times where building the organization is going to feel hard, and there will be times where you are going to be tempted to quit building it. Okay? Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You know, there's a saying, you are one recruit away from changing your organization. You are one recruit away from becoming wildly successful. You are one recruit away from changing their life and changing your life. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is by not quitting. You're going to have to go through a lot in order to build the organization to the level in which you want it to grow to. I know it. I've been there, and my organization still, as good as we are, is not where I want it to be yet. I know what my vision is. You need to know what your vision is as well. So don't quit building. Keep building when it gets tough. Keep building when it's easy. Keep building, keep improving yourself so that it becomes easier to attract the quality of person that you want into your organization. Because just to remind you, you can't recruit above, right? You can recruit at your level. That's what you can recruit at, okay? So, number 10, don't quit. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. All right, I know what it's like to build an organization. I know what it's like to see an organization fall. I know what it's like to start again from scratch and rebuild. I know what it's like to recruit. I know what it's like to go out there and talk and share your vision with people, even though your vision doesn't look anything like what it presently is. I know all of those things. I've been through all of those chapters, and I got to tell you that it is one of the most rewarding things in the world to watch your organization grow, to watch your organization thrive. And when I talk about my organization, I'm not only talking about my organization in the office, I'm also talking about my organization at home, right? It's very important that, well, you can't really recruit on a regular basis for the organization at home, but I can make sure that they understand how much I appreciate them and how much I love them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below if there's anything else that you'd like to add that you feel like I may have missed. If there's anything else that you'd like to rebut, feel free to do that as well. If you think that there's other people that could benefit from this video, by all means, please share this content with anybody else that you think can win. I hope you like my pink hat. Make sure that you subscribe, right, to our channel. Make sure that you press the bell icon so that you can get notifications, all right? I look forward to hearing about your success. I'll see you guys soon.